Hey, before I get into this video, I just want to put a trigger warning. If you have any issues hearing or talking or listening about suicide or rape or bullying or self-harm or any of that kind of thing, be warned, I'm going to be talking about that, obviously, by the title of this video. And also, if you have not seen the show 13 Reasons Why and you want to see it, I will be giving probably some spoilers up in this video as well, so please keep that in mind. So, okay. Hi guys, welcome to Educating Shani. I'm Shani and I'm recovering from an eating disorder. Hi Shani, hi! If you are new to my channel, then welcome! We are so happy to have you here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button so you'll know when I put up a video and I talk about mental health, I talk about my eating disorder, I take you through my recovery from my eating disorder, I take you through the process of how I lost all my teeth. These are fake. And my favorite thing about my channel is that we have the coolest community. They call themselves the Shani Fannies, and it is a community you'll see in my comment sections where you will find nothing but love and support and upliftingness for no matter what you're going through. I am here to support you by making videos for you, and my Shani Fannies are here to support each other, talking, being friends, and doing all of that, and I really appreciate them for that. So please, please, please join the Shani family, become an official Shani Fanny. Yes, I'm aware that Fanny means butt in America, and I'm also aware that Fanny means vagina in England and Australia. So you are all my Shani butts and my Shani vaginas. Let's get into the video. Okay, so obviously today I would like to talk about the show 13 Reasons Why. So before I get into my opinions and my review on this show, I want to say that if you are here because you're having thoughts of suicide, I just want this to be at the top of the video, which is that there's a number that you can call if you're thinking of suicide. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. And that's a totally anonymous number you can call, and there will be people there to talk to you. And they've been doing this a long time. I can tell you that I've called them before and that it helped me a lot. So if that's something that you need, please reach out and do that. That's what they're there for. They're not going to judge you. They're not going to turn you away. They're there to help you. So please take that help that's available. So a lot of you have been asking me to review this show. So let me start by saying my overall review, and then I'm going to tell you why I give it that review, okay? So I know that overall I would say that I loved the show. It's not a common opinion, it's not a popular opinion, I get that, but I want to tell you why I loved it. There were some things in it that I did hate, that I didn't like, that made me cringe, that made me kind of worried, honestly, but the majority of my thoughts and feelings are that I really like it, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that I think the acting was completely brilliant. I think that pretty much all of the actors, I mean, there are a lot of characters in the show, and I would say maybe there were 2 or 3 characters that I thought, okay, they're just acting and this is kind of cringy. But everybody else I thought were fantastic, fantastic actors. Like, wow. Like, I felt like I was watching real life, and that's what I like. That's what I like. I like it to be as real as possible. So I really love that. I loved all of the main characters. I think they were all great actors. So there were a lot of things that I loved and a lot of things that I hated. I want to start with the things that I hated and get them out of the way, because I really want to focus on what I loved about it, because I think there's enough reviews out there of why it should be hated. So the things that I don't like are that at first, this kind of changed as I watched more and more, but at first it seemed like it was kind of glamorizing eating disorder, or not eating disorders, nothing to do with eating disorders. By the way, there was no talk of eating disorders in there, nothing. I was like, what? You're talking about high school, you're talking about cutting and committing suicide and drinking and drugs and rape and sex and all of the things, but you're not gonna address eating disorders? Anyway, I'll get over it. What was I talking about? But I felt like it kind of glamorized at first suicide. Like almost as if you're having a hard time in life, kids, kill yourself, because what's gonna happen afterwards? People are gonna love you more? This is not true. I'm saying this is what the show portrayed at the beginning for me. was that people all of a sudden loved her and all of a sudden cared about her and all of a sudden wanted to know about her and her life and be best friends with her family all of a sudden, just so they could, you know, be a part of it and get the attention from it. And that's what scares me the most, I think, is that it tells kids out there, it tells kids, because listen, everything in the show is very accurate to what really happens in high school, especially these days. So much bullying and cutting and suicide attempts and rape and sex and drugs and drinking and all these things that kids should not be doing. I also didn't like how they didn't really address the core issue of what made her kill herself. However, I will say, and I've actually heard this a lot in a lot of reviews, a lot of people are saying this and I agree, that they never like talked about mental health. They never talked about what was the issue, why did she kill herself, what, like, it couldn't just be because of situations that she shared with us. She also had to have had some sort of a mental disorder that combined with the situational things caused her to commit suicide, and that's really what happens. However, if you're somebody who has been through it, if you're somebody who has spent your whole life, like me for example, dealing with all kinds of mental health problems, all kinds of things that come from my mental health chemical problems, such as my eating disorders and cutting and suicide attempts and anxiety and depression and all kinds of things. You guys know if you watch my channel. Come watch my channel if you're new. It's really exciting. Anyway, if you're like me and you've kind of dealt with this kind of thing your whole life, and you've spent your whole life hiding it from people and faking it in front of people, then you will see that they addressed it many times. They never came out and said the words. They never even acted that way. It's just the feeling that they got. And again, that's why I think the acting was brilliant, because they were able to portray these deep, hard, where her pain was really coming from. But for those of you that wouldn't recognize that, then that's where I wish it would have been like, okay, even if they would have just said it once, she had a mental health problem, or maybe she was depressed, or did they talk about depression? I think they did. I don't know. Never mind. I don't know about that. But anyway, you get my point. Like, it should have been more talked about for those that don't understand it and who haven't already been through it, because heaven forbid that anybody has been through that, but so many have, but so many have not. So that's another thing that kind of bothered me. I really wish they would have addressed that more. The next negative, I guess, point that I want to make is going to be really hard for me to describe. I'm not very good with words, but I'm going to try. So we live in a day and age now with so much technology. So it's so different from when I was in high school. When I was in high school, it was not, how do I say this? I hope I'm not going to offend anybody, but it was not popular to be different. It was not popular to be unique. And I feel like these days it's popular to be unique. As ironic as that sounds, it's true. If you're your own person, if you're unique, if you have a really strange personality or something that not everybody has, you're the ones that people want to be like and look at and watch and are fascinated with. Whereas in my day, it was like you're always trying to fit in the mold of that perfect cookie cutter popular crowd, you know? And there was some of that in the show too, and these days too, but I really feel like it's just more popular these days to have something unique about yourself. And the thing is about that scares me is that I am worried that that kind of like proves my next point, which is my biggest concern, honestly, is that so many kids out there contemplate suicide, and shows like this might come off as, you know what, if you're having a hard time, kill yourself. If you want to get revenge on people that have hurt you, kill yourself. Like, it's just that easy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that message to get out there that it's just that easy, because children's brains, and when I say children, I mean 18 and below, are just not developed enough yet to understand consequences fully. As much as they feel that way, as I felt that way. I thought I was an adult when I turned 12 years old. I thought I knew the whole world. I thought nothing, you know, would change. I thought that I knew everything. I thought I knew everything. And as I got older into my grown-up years, and especially the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I'm starting to see that, whoa, I was totally like that in high school too. And that's normal. That is nothing to be ashamed of. But that's what scares me, is that people that young are going to have the thoughts, oh, just kill yourself, because it will make people love you and respect you more. It will make you more popular. It will get revenge. It will make you feel better when they don't have the full effect of the feeling of what it will do to their salvation and where they're gonna go, whatever they believe in, or what it leaves behind for their family and loved ones. So putting aside the negative, I do want to talk about why I loved it, besides all of those things. First of all, I already talked about the fantastic acting, but what I loved about the show is that it absolutely showed so many different important things that people need to start talking about more. My channel is that's what my channel is. I made this channel to get people to talk about eating disorders more, and it's working. Imagine that's what these people have done with suicide. I mean, along with all of the rape and the suicide scenes and all of the graphic things, if it wasn't that graphic, if it wasn't that scary, if it wasn't that disturbing, people would not be talking about it so much. And the fact that people are talking about it so much is why I love the show. And while I'm on that note, I was gonna save this till the end, but I'll tell you now. For those of you that don't know, my channel is about not only my recovery in eating disorders, but also educating the world on eating disorders, getting people to talk about it. And I love that this show was able to get the world talking about suicide, and it made me think to myself, like it made me more motivated to keep doing what I'm doing. And it even gave me this idea, what if someday I could do this? What if someday I could make a Netflix show that's all about eating disorders and get people talking about it? Absolutely, I would do it, just like they did this. And it sucks so bad that this is what it had to come to get people's attention, but that's the world that we live in, and people need to acknowledge that. The world that we live in, we're not going to talk about it unless it's hugely disturbing. That's just the world we live in, and that's sad, but it's a fact, and that's nothing. And so I see why they did that. If they had cut out, no pun intended, the suicide scene, if they had cut out the rape scene, yeah, it still would have been talked about, but not nearly as much. The fact that it is so gory and so detailed and so disturbing, I would not have watched that had people not said to me, you gotta be careful because she cuts herself and it shows the entire thing. You gotta be careful because it shows 2 rape scenes. You've gotta be careful because it shows bullying and abuse and all kinds of things. You need to be careful. That just made me want to watch it more, because I am a part of the human race, and every single one of us has that ounce of curiosity inside of us that makes us want to watch those things. And so I see why they did it. And who knows who this show has saved. I bet you anything that because this show is so popular, it's also become popular to talk about it now. And it's become popular to go to your counselor and talk to them, because this is also making counselors more aware. I love the last scene where, again, this is a spoiler if you haven't seen it, but where Clay, the main character, is talking to the counselor, which was the last person that she talked to before she killed herself. And he was saying, she talked to you, she tried to talk to you, and you weren't hearing her. You didn't do anything about it. And it's not just you, it's all of us. The entire world, her world, but I'm gonna say, me, Shani, is gonna say that our entire world needs to do what he told the counselor that needs to be done, which is talking about it and also taking responsibility for your part in hurting other people, especially when it comes to bullying and putting people down and making people feel like they should kill themselves and that they have no worth in this life. We need to take responsibility, and the best way to do that is to just not do that at all. And I'm hoping that this will bring so much clarity and so much like a kick in the face for those bullies out there, that it's just not worth what you're doing. Like, it is so, you are playing with people's lives here, and you need to take responsibility for that. We all do. If we've ever been any part of hurting another person, you need to take responsibility. Now, I will say that it is not completely other people's fault if you kill yourself. I'm not saying that this girl had no blame on herself. I'm saying that this was an unfortunate, I'm talking about it like it was real, but it felt real, and this is real, and this is happening in the world. I'm just relating it to the story, that this girl felt that way, and her feelings were legitimate. Her feelings were legitimate. She had every right to feel that way. And again, her brain was not developed enough to understand, to comprehend that it's not always everybody else's fault, that she needed to take responsibility too, and maybe come out and say that she needed help or whatever, you know, like this show is opening up so many different things that we don't talk about that we need to talk about, and I'm really, really glad that they did it. I've come across a lot of reviews where people say the term, "What is this show teaching kids?" And I thought about that because my first thought, I agreed with them. My first thought, my original reaction was, yeah, what is this teaching kids? It's teaching kids that suicide makes you, like I said in the beginning, it makes you more popular, more loved, it makes you in a better place, it makes you happy, it makes your family happier, it makes your friends happier. Like, what is it teaching kids? But then I thought to myself, no, if you watch it to the very end, that's one of the things though, you need to watch it to the very end, and you will see that no, it is not glamorized at all. In fact, it shows, that's one of the reasons I'm okay with them showing how deep she cut, how much blood, how much gore, how much pain she was in. Like, I felt like I was right there with her having it happen to me, and it made my stomach turn so hard, and like my wrists were hurting, and like it really, really was very realistic in the way that she portrayed how it would have made her feel, how she could barely breathe because she was in so much pain. I'm really glad that they showed that because people don't think about that. I've never thought about that when I've thought about suicide. You don't think about that when it's in the moment. And when she did that, yes, it brought me back to my cutting days. It brought me back to my suicide attempt days. But I felt for the first time, whoa, I don't want to do that. That looks effing painful. Are you kidding me? No, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm an adult. I'm a grown adult. So think what that can do for kids who are way more impressionable than I am. They're going to be like, okay, that looks like it hurts like hell. I'm never doing that. Listen, bottom line is that we are talking about it, and that I am very happy about. That is, I've always stood for that when it comes to mental health. Again, I wish they would have related it to actual mental health in the show, but I've heard there's a season 2 now, so hopefully they'll do that and they'll dig deeper and really talk about the core issues of where this came from her, and not just the people who were the tip of the iceberg for her. So that's my review basically. Obviously it was hard to watch, and because of, for me personally, it triggered me, the rape scenes and the cutting scenes and the suicide scene, everything triggered me from my past. However, the thing, I was more triggered in a good way. I felt more motivated to try and keep helping people and spread my message even further. And I hope that that's what will happen in the world. And I hope also that people will become more comfortable talking about these serious issues that need to be addressed. And I really hope above everything else that parents see this show if they can sit through it. I know it might be hard. I'm not a parent, so I guess I can't know exactly how hard it would be. But if you have the stomach to sit through it, please do, or at least take my advice and start talking to your kids about these serious issues: suicide, cutting, drugs, sex, alcohol, eating disorders, everything, as young as you possibly can. Like, these are issues that you need to face as a parent, and if I ever become a parent, I will face them, and I already have, I guess, by watching this show, but it certainly has inspired me to do more about it and to research more on these issues, especially considering my channel and that's what my channel is about. It definitely brought up a lot of like, whoa, I need to be like even doing more research and really giving better information to people who are watching me, because I don't have a huge platform, but I do have a platform and I need to use it for good. And so I just want to say that yes, it was extremely horrible to watch and dark. However, I loved it, and I love the outcome that it brought for me, and I love that I'm seeing a good outcome in the world and that people are talking about it more. So how can you hate something that made that happen? I don't know. So again, if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. We talk about these serious issues all the time, but we do it in a lighthearted way. Usually, today was more serious for me. But usually it's always lighthearted with upbeat music and very comfortable to talk about things here. And I also do fun things, and I vlog, and I do funny skits, and I do all kinds of stupid things too. So you should definitely join the Shani family, become a Shani Fanny, and hit that subscribe button. So, okay, I'm done self-promoting. I'm gonna go. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. And remember forever and always that you are beautiful, you are worth it, and I am too. Thank you for watching. Bye.